Don't be afraid. Hold on. You'll find your way.
Welcome to Growth Made Groovy, where we talk about everything from healing medicine music, working through life challenges,
and developing awareness and connections as we heal and grow along our journey.
Hey everyone, I'm Caroline Rena.
And I'm Noel New, and welcome to Growth Made Groovy.
Groovy!
Yes. And on today's episode,
Happy July 4th episode.
That's true. We're actually recording it on July 4th, even though it's released at a later date.
Don't you worry about that.
Celebrating, the country and the independence, and there's all kinds of stuff that goes on with that. It used to be quite simple, but now it's a little bit more complex. But the reality is it's still a wonderful place to be. And
that's right.
To be able to be on our computers and broadcasting and, and just sharing what's happening for us and in life and our beliefs and our opinions and all that.
And Independence Day, obviously, is all about freedom. And I learned something today that there's a difference between inner freedom and outer freedom. Mm. And I really looked at, sometimes I don't feel free out there. Sometimes for sure, because I haven't felt free inside. And the more I feel free inside, the more I feel free in whatever I'm doing and wherever I'm going. So this is a whole new thing for me. So just want to share that, throw it at you there. So
absolutely. Right. So, and today's song, as we go through our catalog, it's interesting because it is about freedom. I mean, it's not a direct, it's more of an indirect, and we'll go over that when we go over the lyrics. But it's called Home Again, and done again 2 years ago. We wrote it 2 years ago, and it's a quick little ditty. But and I have to say it now. I'm going to save it for later, but it was always my favorite to do live, because I would just extend it jam style, Grateful Dead jam style.
Right. And I never know how long you were going to go. So I'm like,
neither did I. Neither did I. But I was enjoying that because it's just a really party song. Yeah. And at the end, it really gets going here. So, And
it does talk about inner freedom. That is the inner freedom. So just wait.
That's right. Yep. That's right. So it's a beautiful 4th of July celebration. And here we go. Ready for Home Again.
Oh my God, the beard.
Yes, the classic look. 2019 style.
Everything that's broken me don't belong in time. Sure that there's a part of me that's always told the lie. As I think of you, it opens up my mind, helping me to see the truth. There's nothing left to find without holding back and knowing that you got to get home again. Without holding back and knowing that you got to get home again. We can make the choice to recognize the way, slow down the thoughts that come messing up our day. Remember where we've been, building up our faith, falling down to get back up. You're never far away. Without holding back and knowing that you got to get home again. Without holding back and knowing
Yay.
Yeah. Oh my God. Two things. One, I noticed I'm wearing the same color shirt you had on that day.
I did notice that. Yeah.
And the second thing I noticed was I was like eagle eye into I remember when we were doing this stuff back then, like I had to focus on you because I didn't know what the heck I was doing. Like that was one of the first times I picked up a microphone, right?
That's right. You did
right?
the carry the mic.
Yeah. And I always looked in your eyes to track what to do. And I kind of sort of read the way you were moving your lips or when the words came out. So I judged that in how to do the song. And I'm like, that's so cool.
Yeah, it was fun. And that song was really fun. We nailed it. You know what I mean? You nailed it there. And that's why it was so fun to do that one live. Remember when we did that Miami show down at the
Hot Miami show?
South, yeah, in Homestead, Colley Square.
Yeah. Oh my God.
That song, we just let it go for like, I don't know, 10 minutes, that end part, because it's just so fun, because it's just a jam, you know, and I would just start going like getting back home again. And you would do the boos and ahs, and yeah, it was nice.
And it was in Florida hot. We were sweating and went on for, I don't know how long, 5 minutes or something.
I don't know, but it was fun. Yeah, it was really fun.
Yeah, that was a hot day.
So, yeah. So anyway, so home again. And again, just straight off the bat, when we talk about home is where the heart is, right? And so home is where the heart is, meaning in the actual place you're with and who you're with, but also the home within ourselves is our heart. You're going from our mind to our heart. And so that's a big part of this. But the first line, everything that's broken me has come along in time to show that there's a part of me that's always towed the line. So everything that's broken me, like, you know, again, broken me down or broken me wide open. And the me is a we, as in us, as in anybody. This is what we go through. But to show that there's a part of me that's always towed the line, that's always just kind of like followed along as much as possible. As soon as I think of you, again, there's an other, but there's also the self, the higher self of you, or the little child in you, that, you know, the extenuating part of our soul. As soon as I think of you, it opens up my mind to helping me to see the truth that there's nothing left to find. You know, it's all right here, coming back into ourselves.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I agree with all of it. I'm going to just add a couple of things because there's really not a lot, but like the broken me part. I mean, life breaks us, but it doesn't mean you can unbreak. You can heal a wound. You can.
Well, that's why I like to call it breaking open, not necessarily breaking down.
Right. And that's good, because I remember the thing that hit me just now is that Japanese, where they take a broken bowl or something and they mold, or they glue it back, not glue, they put it together again with gold. Yeah,
with 24 karat gold.
Right. Yeah. And I don't remember what that's called, but that's what it feels like. Like every time my heart breaks, I'm remending it back with 20, because the experiences are like gold for me, you know, because they've done so. Where I sit right now, that's what it feels like. So that's what the broken, it's not even really, we're not broken. We don't need fixing. We just need mending. And the gold is the mend, you know? And then the part of me that's always towed the line, for me, that's like, you know, the healing journey that I've been on is like constant, persistent, towing, just going and going. Like I always say, from Finding Nemo, Dory always said, keep on swimming, keep on swimming, keep on swimming. That's what it feels like. That's the towing the line part for me. And then soon as I think of you, it opens up my mind. Two things, you're right. One of them was definitely inside, because I'm starting to focus on who I am inside, or who I'm learning who I am inside. And then also having someone, like at that time in our knowing each other, it was having someone to bounce off of energetically, and it helped to open these things up for me. And so what that did was helping me to see the truth. There's nothing left to find. I used to be a seeker outside of me to find who I am inside. Now I'm seeking for its own sake. It's like, I want to see what's out there. It's cool. I'm not doing it just to fix myself or anything like that. So the truth, finding the truth inside of ourselves, there isn't anything left to find, because the truth is the ultimate thing, for me. That's how I see it. Yeah. So that's my input for the first day.
Left to find. Yeah, no, that's right on. And then we say, our big chorus is, without holding back and knowing that we got to get home again. So we just go for it, kind of, that's what it really is,
Yeah. To get back home to the heart.
Yeah. So that can be to be vulnerable, to be open, to be, take the risk, the challenge, the intimacy, whatever the case may be.
And the compassion, it's in the love and the truth and the light, or whatever, whatever you want to call it, it's all here. So.
Yes. So then the second verse, we can make the choice to recognize the way, to slow down the thoughts that come messing up our day. That's pretty simple.
We nailed that one, didn't we?
Yeah, but I like right off the bat, it says we can make the choice.
Yes.
And the choice is to recognize, to recognize, which is just another word for choice, recognize.
That's what our frontal lobes are for, right?
Yeah, right.
Make choices, cognitive choices.
Yeah. So we can make the choice to recognize the way, to slow down the thoughts that come messing up our day. The thoughts, the worry, the monkey mind, all that stuff that gets in there and extenuates our suffering.
Yes.
And remember,
it's also a choice.
Yeah, of course. That's the whole point. Remembering it, though, we can make the choice. And then that's what we come the next line. Remember where we've been, building up our faith, and falling down to get back up. You're never far away. Again, fall down, fail, make a mistake, have a heartbreak, whatever the case may be, all this type of stuff. The ego's trip is to not do it again, or to protect, or to avoid, or to deny, or, and
or to push away. It's also a push.
Yeah, right. To protect.
Yeah.
And so, we're talking, remember where we've been, building up our faith, in falling down to get back up. You're never far away. And that builds that strength of who we are, that faith in ourselves, each other, and something greater than ourselves,
Yeah. Yeah. And okay, I don't have a whole lot. It's just the biggest thing about that is we're going to have thoughts are what causes 99.99 to 100% of our issues. Because thoughts are the things that create the feelings and the emotions.
Yes.
Emotions are the things that create.
And they're based on past and, and
right.
issues of trying to deal with stuff, traumatic, whatever the case may be.
Especially if they're ruminating if the thoughts are stories and they come back over and over and over and over again, then we start to believe that that's exactly what happened. And if you've ever been in a situation where, like watching a car accident, you ask 5 witnesses and they're all going to give different stories. Our thoughts are ours. Someone might have placed the idea in our head, but we took it and ran with it based off of what we know. So when we learn how to slow that down, it won't mess our day up anymore. It won't mess us up anymore, because we're quieting that, because we don't want to. We want to go from here to here. And that's the longest journey on the face of this planet, is going from the head to the heart. Oh my God, just saying. So, and then, like you said, remembering where we've been, and building up our faith. And that for me personally was a struggle, because the faith was never there. I always remembered the stories, but I never had the faith to remember anything else about like who I am. And then you're going to fall, you're going to fall, you're going to fall, and you will get back up. And that's the key. That's the ticket to life, is getting back up. And when you get back up, you get closer. I'm coming obviously from my perspective, but you get closer and closer and closer to who you really are every single time you get back up.
Well, because there's the innate learning that you just got from the falling down, so to speak, the failure, whatever we call it, the mistake, or whatever. There's the learning about who we really are within that.
Yeah, and glad you said the word mistake, because that wasn't part of the lines in here, but mistakes are actually there to help us. They're kind of a guidance system. They're not bad. We may think that they're bad because that's what we've been told. You make a mistake, oh my God, you can't ever do that again, da, da, da. All right, well, there's also knowing not to do it again. And if you do, learning it, it's better to learn it the first time around, but some of us are a little more stubborn. And we don't always learn the mistakes the first time around. So we come back, we do it again. And it's like, oh, it hurt harder.
Yeah.
So let's not do that again, you know? So that's the important piece of that healing process.
That's right. Yeah. And so then our bridge there, even though we didn't do everything that was making our lives to be a challenge, that we gave ourselves away in. So even though we didn't do everything that was making our lives to be a challenge that we gave ourselves away in. So again, imperfectly perfect is kind of the general thing that I get there. To find the meaning of the silence in between the thoughts that always take us back to soul remembering. So the silence, again, going back to the thoughts comment that you made there. Yeah, in between the thoughts, to find the meaning of the silence in between the thoughts that always take us back to soul remembering who we really are. And that's really where we're home. You know, that's what we're talking about, coming back home again. So, yeah, I mean, you know, and the way that just line just comes in, it starts off, the first line of the bridge is kind of about almost, again, to use the word, but failing, even though we didn't do everything. So right there, failure thought that was making our lives to be a challenge. Right there, failure thought that we gave ourselves away in, failure thought, right? To find the meaning, all that just to find the meaning of the silence that happens no matter what we did, fail, pass, succeed, you know, anything good, bad, or indifferent. But the silence in between the thoughts that always take us back to who we really are, the soul remembering.
Mm-hmm. I'm going to bring this back. Like, I'm not going to dig deep into a lot of the thing that drives this podcast for me is you and I and the relationship we were in the levels of relationship that we were in, from the singing partner to the partner to the stuff we went through to the not partner, you know, but we're still partners, you know, so there's been a whole mess of levels of growth here. And that's hence the name of the you know, podcast, because it was groovy. I mean, in the end, it was groovy. Going to this, it was interesting because, like, you were talking about mistakes and failures, and I heard that personally, I heard that in general. I'm saying that having someone like you in my life, and I feel like it's the same with everybody, you can do healing when you're by yourself, but the exponential change that we go through when we're with somebody else, and to be able to walk through it in a growing way rather than a bam and then, you know, explosive way, and ending it like that, this is huge for me. So these lines here are like, how do I say this? Well, I'm just going to say it. You were my challenge, and I am grateful, because I needed that. I needed that to be able to see it. However, in the process, I also gave myself away. That was the line to me. And seeing that, watching that, me giving myself away and realizing that, no, I'm not supposed to do that. I'm supposed to stay here and be good to me and nice and gentle with me. Like you have your be gentle with your healing, or gentle with yourself and firm with your healing. I learned how to be more gentle with myself and worked very diligently at being gentle with you, but it wasn't an easy process, and it isn't when you're in a relationship with somebody.
No.
But it also shows you what you need to know. And so the meaning, it showed me the meaning, the silence in between the thoughts, it literally, I was monkey mind completely. It literally cut off that monkey mind almost entirely. I mean, I still have it every once in a while, but not the way I used to. And so the silence is not, people think silence is a scary place, and it may be when you've been having that monkey mind thing, but it's not. And it's like, once you get into that silence, that's where the peace is. That's where the joy is. That's where the love and light and all that stuff is. It's in that silence in between. Who is the person who does, was it Wayne Dyer? Somebody does a meditation that talks about, I think it is Wayne Dyer. He talked about the silence, like you do, there's a certain process that you do, and then you get to the side, you're focusing on the silence in between any of the thoughts, and he walks you through it like that. So I always thought about that with this too. So if you have an inclination to look up, this meditation, go for it.
Yeah, or Eckhart Tolle, or you know what I mean? I mean, it's the same kind of consideration in the moment.
Yeah.
Right.
Reading his book, The Power of Now, is all about that. So, but then the soul remembering that's what we're here for. We're here to remember who we are. That's part of the bottom line of all of it. And, in our connections to ourselves and a higher power, however we believe in that or not, and all it takes being with other people to learn that about yourself and to walk through it and to connect and learn how to be compassionate and understanding about that person. I mean, sometimes you want to hate them. Sometimes you want to knock them across the head. And sometimes you want to give them a great big hug and, like, oh my God, whatever. But that's who we are as human beings, So.
Yeah, no, it is a part of the experience. And you're right. Being in partnership or relationship, and you get to see yourself in a whole nother form, is quite challenging and painful and wonderful.
Mm-hmm.
And to me, I mean, the thing just came from me is to experience it coming together. Everybody likes that. Well, I won't say everybody, but most people like that. But to experience it in breaking apart, or at least having the energy of it shift, the evolution of the relationship, the partnership, whatever the case may be, and still have it be one of connection with who we really are in that process. To me, that's invaluable. And that's where, if there was 98% of people that love getting in relationships, the ones that, and I won't say love getting out, but love themselves getting out, and each other, love themselves and each other getting out, it might be 1 or 2% left out of that. I don't know. It's a big chunk that says, I hate this, I'll never do it again. Or this one sucks, I want that one, or whatever the case may be. And so, which I've done in the past too. But there's no point in doing that anymore for me, because that, years ago, there was that line in that movie, Renee Zellweger and Tom Cruise, Jerry Maguire, you complete me. And, that's broken. You know what I mean? You, meaning the outside of self, doesn't complete me, meaning the true self. Yeah. What we could say, though, is you complete the connection that I have to see who I really am within this partnership, this intimate partnership.
That's true.
Have that one person be that's absolutely the case, rather than 10 people. It really hones it down, not just for the connection with the other person, but self and within that relationship. So I experienced all that as well with you, and the heartbreak and the headache and the challenge. And again, how it evolved out is probably what I'm most, I guess the word proud is, but most proud of, but more than that, of us doing it like that, more what I'm most grateful for is probably a better term for it, more whole term, that we're still able to just connect and talk and have it evolve and shift, and you know what I mean? And it's all okay.
How many relationships have you ever been in that you could do something like this with the person that you were with?
Yeah, no, this is the first one. I mean, the one before this was a good precursor, because I still needed to parent with her. And that was right off the bat. And I didn't have any animosity. I had difficulty and challenge as well as she did, but I had no animosity.
No, everybody did. Well, yeah.
Well, just how it goes.
Relationship, everybody does. It's not, she may have had him, you may have had him.
Yeah. So, but when you get to the animosity, and I mean, again, being in this business long enough and seeing people hate each other's guts, that at one time said, I love you so much. I mean, it's obvious they did, whether it was on the altar or before that or during or whatever, and hating each other's guts so potently. I never want to do that. I never want to experience that again, because it doesn't make any good common sense, not just logically, but, kind of life-wise, it doesn't make sense. Doesn't mean we have to like hurt each other anymore, but we definitely, or still, enmesh, but we definitely don't need to like hate each other, try to kill each other.
Well, I have a question, and I'm going to dig into your therapy brain, because you know how I do that. Some of the work that I do, or I've done with the alienation stuff that I've went through, the parental alienation stuff. I don't know whoever's watching this have ever experienced it. If you're experiencing it now, whatever that looks like. What I discovered in the process of healing from that is that the animosity and the behaviors and all of that stuff, to me, all stemmed from anger. And anger is something that, like, it's actually there to help us. Like, it actually is a boundary protector and passion. Yeah. But then when you're so angry at somebody for something that you think that they did to you, even though you were part of the equation, you get so angry that you do anything and everything in your power to feel, so you can feel better, and you don't care about the other person. Now, parental alienation, it also includes the kids. So, and who's going to get them, and who's going to push the other parent out, and all that stuff. So from what I learned about it, though, it was like anger is that thing that keeps that fuel going, or the fuel is the fuel to keep that fire going and to keep hurting and hurting and hurting. It's like, how can people who are going through, like, aside from maybe looking into conscious uncoupling, but you have to be conscious to even take a look at that too, you know? How do people in that kind of environment stop themselves from being so angry that they can step into a place where they're like, holy crap, you know,
well,
you know what, does that make sense?
I do. Where there's anger, meet it with love. And love is not just for the other person. As a matter of fact, if you can't do it for the other person, you have to do it for yourself.
Right.
And all that anger is protection, like you said. And the protection is there because of, at first, self-preservation or a self-love, but then it triggers into something else, because then you lose that.
Then it becomes rage.
Right. You lose that impetus of what it's for, because the reality is, especially when there's children involved, that there has to be this understanding, especially when both parties are still present, that both parties, the mother and the father, whatever the case may be, still love their child. So with all the hurt, and remember, when you get divorced or from a family, like, you get divorced from a relationship, it's like breakup. I mean, it's still painful, but it's a breakup. When you get divorced from a family where you have kids, it's not just the husband and wife, it's the mother and father, and this energy of the family dynamic being broken, that is painful for literally all parties. So then there has to be something where, okay, even if I don't feel for her, or being in the female side, I feel for him, or whatever the case may be, it doesn't matter. Even though I don't feel for the other person as much, I still feel for this child, like, with all my heart. So by hating their other parent, and by putting the parent against them, or them against the parent, absolutely hurts them 100%. It's not even a side I'm taking or anything like that. It's just a reality. And so, yeah, but when there's so much pain and then fear, remember, all that anger is hurt and fear, exasperated. So when it gets to that too much, it doesn't matter. It's damn the torpedoes. I got to protect my child. But the problem is that there's no way that protection is protection, again, unless the person is legitimately trying to hurt the children. But more than likely, the worst way that they could do it is that they just don't care. But I mean, but if they care,
that's actually more subtle than the way that this particular insidious thing works with.
Yeah, no, because it becomes well, again, the way that I've seen how parental alienation works, both professionally and personally, is that it becomes a banner with which to gain power, and the power helps to not have to deal with their self, to deal with their own shortcomings and personal issues and fears about self, regardless of the other parent, divorced, or and their own inconsistencies and their own insecurities with their new partnership. Because more ways than one, it's always generally another partnership, meaning the husband's married to another one, or the wife's married to another partner. And then that has insecurity, and so to build that strength, attack the old one. So I mean, it's just it's just kind of it loses in so many. Everybody's losing that.
Yeah, and that's how it keeps it up.
So the only way to come back to our song here, the only way to get back home again, is through love, and it's not necessarily loving the other person yet. Maybe you never will. Obviously, the bonus is that you do, because if you love the other person, you're just exacerbating the love of self and power greater than yourself. You're extenuating that, which is nothing but purity and love. But which is amazing. but at least to get back to loving self, and if love self, and then if you have children, you're going to love children. You're going to know that the best thing is for them is to have the connection with their other parent.
And when you're not, when you go through a divorce like that, when you're not healed as your own inner child, then that's who's angry. It's the inner kid.
Exactly.
It's not even adults in that relationship that are
no, that's right. It never is. When two people
we get locked in if we have a trauma in our lives.
And yelling. Yeah.
Stuck at that. So here, we're not really fighting as 50-year-olds or 40-year-olds. We're fighting as 5-year-olds.
Right.
So, because I'm mad and I didn't get a chance to say it before, and now I get to say it, and here we are.
Yes.
So yay.
No, that's how it works. But
so coming home again is actually to ourselves is so much more powerful.
Yes. And then in the end, that's why I love the end. That's why I always love to extend it, home, sweet home again. And then you can say, got to get home again, heading home again, coming home again. We are home again. And then just that whole thing. And then, the energy of that crescendoing the message. I always love a good crescendo.
Yeah.
Crescendoing the message in music. Yeah. And otherwise, but especially in music, because it's the energy of the power of it. And then we're all like one. That's why I love, concerts and, that's what the Grateful Dead and jam bands, and they build up to this like, and everybody's like, because we're connected. We're connected in that moment of that musical crescendo. And so.
Well, it's interesting because that also brings out the fact that we are also all one, because how can you take an entire 10,000 person theater and make everybody at the same time in the same space? I mean, that right there shows how at one we are. Yeah. Because it is, if we could be consistent with that kind of stuff, can you even imagine how the world would be?
No, it's incredible. Yeah. And, let it begin with me. It starts with self, connecting with self and that inner self, and then one other, and then a group of others, and then a bigger group, and it just, it's like the
consciousness,
the ripple, the pebble, and then the ripples. Yeah.
Yeah. Yay.
And so, so this is one of my favorites that we did.
Yeah.
We never recorded it, and I was thinking of that, maybe this is one, in the future, near or far, we would get a studio recording with drums and guitar.
Oh, that would be fun. Yes. And then we could extend it. We could
have a little jam extend, right?
Song, 5 minutes for the song, 5 minutes for the crescendo.
There you go. No, I mean, it's a party. You know what I mean? It would be more of a live kind of recording with that. But but out of all our songs that we hadn't recorded yet, I mean, there's a few others because we hadn't recorded all of them, but this is probably the one that I'd want to do the most because it's just a party. It's literally just 3-4 chords, but it's just and it really is a deep song with just very few lyrics, which is really that's what makes it more profound for me.
Yeah, absolutely. I love it. That's so cool.
So with that, on this wonderful day of independence, celebration, love, to me, and that's going back to me, that's the fireworks coming out. The fireworks of sending love out.
That's the light.
Yes. Sending the love out through heart to heart.
Yes.
Opening up and then having it be celebrated back in, that we're connected. We're actually interdependent,
Yeah. And free.
That's right. Yes. Because we come in, we come out, we go in, we go out. We have our wholeness of who we are, and we get to connect.
Yes.
The string of souls. And by the way, that's what next week's song is. I looked at it exactly as it is. And in that, there's a line there where we use the string of souls, you know what I mean? So we can connect within ourselves and each other on that level. It's really powerful. Yeah. So.
Yes. All right. So well, thank you guys for being here. We're really grateful that you come to listen in, and hope you enjoy the camaraderie and the talks and the, digs and digging in deep.
Digging deeper. That's right. Digging
deeper, and the music.
The connection.
Yeah. So thank you.
Yeah. Much love to you and yours, and have a beautiful day. We'll see you next time.
Bye.